Dan, the Credit Man Willis here, and we're talking about credit cards for rebuilding credit. Here's the most important thing, no matter what you're doing. We're going to talk about the types here in just a moment. But the most important aspect is that your credit card account is reported to all three of the major credit bureaus every single month. The reason this is so important is because if it's not reported, then it's not going to do anything to build your credit. So there's really 5 types of credit cards available as of 2014 and moving forward and even in the past. But the first one is unsecured credit cards. There's been new laws passed by Congress trying to fix the world. And of course the banks worked right around them. But anyways, unsecured credit cards are much more difficult to get these days. And really they're only being issued to folks with a fair credit. Generally speaking, you're probably going to need a credit score of roughly about 600-ish to even have a legitimate chance with those. But don't hesitate to apply for them. Unsecured credit cards are going to have a higher interest rate, especially since you have less than perfect credit. It's okay, life happens, and the fact is, 2/3 of America, if I remember correctly, doesn't have perfect credit. So don't stress it. This is just part of the process, and you can get right back up there to having good credit, which is the purpose of getting this credit card, to help build some credit. But unsecured is really for fair credit folks. You might want to investigate this. Here's the way the banks rather have worked around Congress and our lawmakers. They've started offering partially secured credit cards. What this means is you have to make a deposit. The deposit, and we're going to use some example numbers here. Let's say you deposit $100, then you'll be extended a credit card with a $300 credit limit, but it's going to have sky high fees, an annual fee, a really high APR. The last time we checked, we saw one card with a 36% APR. 36%, which is much higher than any of those predatory lenders in the past. But that's just absurd. They're going to have a huge annual fee, and then there's other fees that just get tacked on there. Please avoid partially secured credit cards. Things might change in the future, but we have yet to see any reasonable partially secured credit card. The government did a great big benefit to everybody to put them in a worse situation. Thank you. What's new? Anyways, the other types here, and this is what's the most common type, is a fully secured credit card. Do check. Make sure it's a major Visa or MasterCard. American Express may have one in the future. I don't believe they do today. But make sure it's a major credit card. Make sure that it's going to report every month to the credit bureaus. This way you can build credit with responsible use. And also, this is how secured credit cards work, just in case you're unfamiliar. You're going to make a deposit, and you get to choose within a range of what your deposit is. Typically it's somewhere between about $250, maybe $300, up to $5,000. You get to choose, but you give the bank your deposit. That deposit is going to secure your card. And what it means is if you default and don't make your payments, the bank isn't losing money. Because they have your deposit, which is fully refundable so long as you don't default on your credit card, but it's fully refundable. And what this is going to do is it just eliminates a lot of the risk, which means you'll have a much lower APR. There's often a much lower annual fee. Reasonably, you should look at about $50 a year as an annual fee at the most. Fully secured credit cards are the much more common route consumers will choose, especially these days, now due to our government passing new laws and stuff. But fully secured credit cards are good. I would encourage you to do some investigating. Compare a few of them because there will be some different interest rates, but you're going to have a much lower interest rate, like we said, a reasonable annual fee, and the big benefit is that it's going to report your account to all three major credit bureaus every single month. So with on-time monthly payments, and additionally, by keeping your monthly balance of at roughly 25-30% of your credit limit, so if you have $1,000 credit card, you'd have a monthly balance of about $250, $300. This is going to show that you're using your credit, you're using it responsibly, and it'll also show available unused credit, which is a really big key and a really big factor that FICO, the credit scoring model, uses. It'll really, really, really help to have available unused credit, and it makes some sense. You're obviously in a better financial position than if your credit card was maxed out. So the last three types, and you have to be really, or last two types, I'm sorry, you have to be really, really, really cautious about these, is catalog, shopping, or merchandise credit cards. They'll often be advertised as a $500 credit limit, low or 0% APR. This is where the government really should have passed laws and really should have went after some guys, because this is the way it works. You can't use that credit card anywhere. It's not even really a credit card because it's not a Visa, it's not a MasterCard. You can't use it at your gas station, you can't use it at the grocery store. The one and only place you can use it is to buy products from the company that issued you that credit card. Hence the shopping merchandise catalog credit card. It used to be catalog in the past where they'd send you a catalog, or send you an information. Nowadays you can buy a lot of this stuff online, but these guys are just really getting it to every person they come across, because from all reports it is some of the poorest quality goods. You're paying exponentially more for a $10 bill or a $10 DVD player. You're looking at a sky high price. It's like, lower than Big Lots quality goods for Louis Vuitton prices. And they're going to charge you and get all sorts of fees. We saw one with a benefits program that offered you medical benefits, car. It just sounds nice. None of this stuff. If you just look into it a little bit, none of this stuff is anything worth 3 cents. You'd never use these things. Please avoid these like the plague. This is really where the government should have gone after. These are those less than ethical and real predatory lenders, because they're just trying to churn and burn every single person that comes across and comes in their doors. They'll often offer guaranteed approval. They'll claim credit bureau reporting, singular, and sometimes they will report your account to one credit bureau, which doesn't help your other 2 credit reports. You have 3 of them. And your account's going to be reported as a shopping merchandise credit card. It's not even going to be reported as a real credit card. So it's going to do so little, if anything at all, to actually improve your credit score or build some good credit. And the last type, so avoid shopping merchandise catalog credit cards. Those are not good credit cards. The last type these days are prepaid debit checking cards. These are good cards. It's a huge emerging industry. There's much lower fees these days, but these aren't actually going to build your credit. And the reason for that is because it works just like a debit card or just like a check card. It's much more similar to a checking account, a savings account, and a debit card, meaning you have to have an account, make deposits, and then when you buy, that DVD player at the grocery store or wherever, then that money that you've deposited in your account will be deducted. There's much more fee-friendly cards available these days. American Express has some good ones, Capital One has some good ones, but none of them will build your credit. So if you're looking to build your credit, really the way we encourage and would strongly recommend to anybody, assuming that you're not able to get a fair credit card account, an unsecured credit card account that will have a little bit higher interest rate but not crazy fees. Avoid that partially secured 36% crazy interest rate, and we would encourage you to investigate a fully secured credit card, even if you have to wait a little while before you can make a deposit or have the financial resources or whatever. Just be very cautious, because a lot of these folks unfortunately are looking to prey upon people. Not all of them, a lot of them are good people, but some of them, like every industry, are looking to prey upon people when they're vulnerable, that don't read the fine print, that don't actually fully investigate the card, and they'll advertise that they report to a credit bureau or that you're guaranteed approval. The government's laws have really handicapped. 2/3 of our country has less than perfect credit, and unfortunately the government getting involved and cutting out those predatory lenders has really left most consumers in a much worse, a much worse place. So just please be careful. It's unfortunate, but it is reality. You can rebuild your credit, and please don't listen to those talking heads or the people claiming you have to live with accurate negative credit for 7 to 10 long years. The law actually says that's a maximum amount of time. There is no minimum amount of time you have to live with derogatory information on your credit report. You can often remove this stuff much quicker, and they say, and it's true, it's only legal to remove any inaccurate items, but what is actually accurate is very highly debated, and Congress passed those laws starting in 1970 and since have passed a number of laws to protect you. It's all for your protection. It's not to help the credit bureaus, it's not to help the credit repair companies, it's not to help anybody but you. If you'd like to know some more, we're going to include a link in the description below to an article at our website for some more tips. We currently have a free report there, the 7 super simple steps to clean credit. We're just giving it away. And please subscribe and join our congregation. This is Dan Willis. Please have a fantastic afternoon. Please like this video, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.